Welcome, everyone. I'm Devaa Haley Mitchell. I'm the co-founder of the Shift Network and the founder of the Inspiring Women with Soul series. I am looking forward to today's conversation with Summer McStravick. She is the creator of Flowdreaming, the Me School, and also In Flow Radio. She has dedicated her life to helping others break through into their personal power and find their magic. So it's wonderful to have you. Welcome, Summer.
Hello. Thanks, Devaa. I'd love to be here.
So I am very curious about this process that you've engineered around flow dreaming. I was watching some videos that you've put out and hearing all kinds of testimonials from some of the people who've been listening to your work over the years and hearing about some of their breakthroughs. So I was very curious about how it works. So why don't you paint the picture of what flow dreaming is?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I'm so embarrassed you watched the videos. That's my least favorite medium. Oh my gosh. I think because when I go in flow and when I talk about flow, and I come from an old podcasting background. So I'm used to just talking into a microphone and not worrying about being seen. So
you're very seen, but it was more people speaking about you and sharing how much your work had impacted their lives. And so it was really touching, actually. And so I'm curious, because I was saying, I think we could all use more flow in our lives, and some of the key pillars of what makes flow dreaming a unique process.
What it is. Well, so flow dreaming has kind of a unique history. It's something that I started practicing back in, 2000, maybe 1999, 2000, roughly then. So around 20 years ago. And my family has always been very intuitively connected. I come from a long line of intuitive workers, going back at least 5 generations that we know of. So it was back in 1999. I was not planning on doing any sort of work like I do today. I was just a fresh graduate out of college, and I was in publishing and literature and fine literature, good writing, and had put out a magazine about literature and writing in San Diego County. And it was really struggling. It was a terrible, terrible time, as it turns out, to put out a new magazine or media, which we've all been in media since, so we know how these things go. And it was terrible because media was shifting, from print to online, but I was young and clueless and didn't know. So I began this practice where I thought, well, I could do some creative visualization, I could do some affirmations, but there's something else that I feel when I do this. And it's a feeling of just please take me into what I need. It might be this, and I really want this, and I'm working hard at this, but I really just want to know where I'm going, and I want to know what's next for me. And it might be this, but whatever it is, I'm up for. And I just felt it, and I felt it, and I became it. And I started to realize, this is a very, very condensed version, by the way. I started to realize after a time that what I was doing was sort of a combination of a lot of things I'd heard and learned previously, but they were coming together in a different way. And the different way for me was, it wasn't meditation, because I wasn't clearing myself to open. I was actually keeping my mind very, very busy, very stimulated. I was asking it, I want you to feel extreme emotion. And my mind said, well, we're used to feeling despair, so sure, let's try the other direction. I'm like, my magazine is great. Well, it wasn't just the magazine. It was, my life is great. I'm great. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I'm guided. I'm helped. And what ended up kind of synthesizing from all of this was this 3-pronged approach, which was guided daydreaming. So I actually used daydreaming as my process. And I did a ton of research around this afterwards.
It's kind of like lucid dreaming a little bit, how people train themselves to do that.
Yes, exactly. And I had been a big lucid dreamer before that. That was always so fascinating to me. I want to do out of body stuff, And when I thought, well, if I'm doing it when I'm awake, because when I'm daydreaming, I'm also leaving. You lose track of time. You lose track of space. You don't know where you are. And then you snap back. Usually what we daydream about, though, is it's either like crazy fantasies, if we're lucky, sorry, or it's doom and gloom, like I got to fix this, and what if this happens, and what if that happens? It's the negative side of it. So instead, with this kind of lucid daydreaming, it's, well, no, this is what I really want to feel and really want to be. So I coupled that then with this really strong, powerful emotion. Let's not ask for it or see it. Let's not use words. Let's just be it and feel it. Now, this is like the early Abraham Hicks days. We're still percolating along here. And then the last part was flow and flow psychology. So I looked that up too, and I came across Mihai Csikszentmihalyi and his work in positive psychology. And I realized what was starting to happen was I was encountering a space where if I let go into it, I entered essentially flow state of being. But instead of applying it to golf or, science or art or any of the things that were being talked about, I was applying it to my own spiritual self, to my own higher self. So what happens if you bridge flow state with your greater self, as well as this deep, intense, emotional being state and guided daydreaming? And I'm making it sound complicated now, but it's really not. It's just this bringing together of these. It's almost, nowadays, it's so simple in my mind. It's more like an active, deeply emotional meditation that takes you into a flow state where you're completely released, but your mind is completely engaged.
Yeah. And what is the importance of the emotional component? Like, why is that such a key variable?
Well, the emotion for me is really the language that the universe speaks. It doesn't speak in words, doesn't speak in dog barks or, tree pheromones. It speaks in this intense emotional exchange. So I've learned over the years that when you are feeling a person, if you talk about empathic intuition for a second, if you're feeling a person, you might see their face for a minute, you might see their looks for a minute, or you might have forgotten all of that. If you're thinking about someone who's maybe passed on, but what you still feel is this strange inner essence. It's like an emotional signature. And you can instantly identify them. If they were in a crowded room and all of them had the same name of Mary Smith, you would know your grandmother, because it's an emotional signature that translates. And I realized that, gosh, all the creatures on Earth, all the different civilizations and animals and everything, plants even, they respond to the emotion. You always know what someone's feeling, even if you don't know what they're saying. It's really the language of this planet. And as far as I can tell, it's the language that also reaches other places and other ways of being. So when you're speaking this emotional language, you're speaking a real primal state of energy, a primal state of being. And emotion is energy. I mean, it's a really potent energy. Anybody who's ever felt hate or toxicity before, that it's like, it can just, it's stronger than words by 1,000-fold. So when you create using emotion, you're really communicating. You know this already. I'm just preaching to the choir here. But maybe, I don't know, everybody else, do you guys know this? But you're using this fundamental universal language. So that's what you paint with. That is your paint. That's your paint set you go ahead with.
And when you are, and so let's say, are you kind of encouraging people to generate a positive state, because the positive state is more magnetic? And so if you're wanting to, I'm imagining you're using flow dreaming for manifestation largely. Is that true?
Yeah. So this is where I get a little heretical.
Yay.
Yay. I stop going with maybe the party line sometimes. For me, every emotion is magical. It's a toolbox. It's a box of crayons. It's a colorful chain of sounds and octaves. So hate for me is a useful feeling. Love for me is a useful feeling. And I feel that the energy behind them, the feeling state in them, can be equally potent. It's a matter of how are you using them and what are you receiving from them? I don't think we've been gifted any emotion that we shouldn't have, that wouldn't be useful to us. So if someone is feeling hate or fear or lack, which are the kind of, we call them the negative ones, they're telling us something. They're telling us, stop this doesn't feel good, don't go here, move, change, do something, right? They're galvanizing feelings. We get in trouble though when we sit in the feelings and we don't take action on them. We don't do the thing that they're telling us to do. I mean, even love is telling us to do something. It's telling us to engage and reach out and connect with somebody and be vulnerable and show yourself to them. So, for me, perhaps the worst emotion, worst in air quotes here, is fear. Because fear is the primal ground bearer, if you will, right? And then there's, love and hope and joy, and it's up here. Fear has a real powerful place for us. It says, get stable, get security. But if it's all that you're feeling, especially if your life has molded you to feel more fear than normal, then you're living a life that's lopsided and imbalanced. And one of your roles in life is to get itself righted again. Get yourself out of the fear and let it do its positive thing for you instead of running you and ruling you. And that's why I also talk a lot about power and being in a state of power as opposed to a state of non-power, which is in a state of fear. But yes, I do. I use it for manifesting too. I didn't really answer your question. I went somewhere else.
Well, it's interesting though. But when you talk about, you think all emotions are energetic, and so can it work equally well if you're kind of using some of the negative emotions? If you're saying like, I don't know, just like, I don't want to be in poverty kind of thing, as opposed
okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because there's a lot of people who've spoken into this, like don't use negative don't use negative words, don't program your subconscious mind, etc. on that. I look at it like this. Whenever you slum in a negative emotion, whatever you're feeling is what you are emanating. It's what you're becoming. So if you're feeling a lot of fear, my way of saying it, I hope it's okay to say this, but it's like peeing in your own bathwater. You want to do it, right? It happens when you're a kid. But, it's not a general state you want to be in. So if you're using fear or negativity or anger or hate, I mean, everyone here has at one time or another said, I wish that person would just break a leg and break their neck and leave my life, right? And you emanate this horrible feeling. The thing is, yeah, it may be a creational feeling, but now it's you too. You can't create a feeling that's not you as well. So if you're creating things that are on that negative scale, that's what you're also conditioning yourself to be more of. Everything you feel, everything you think adds to who you are. Like that's a basis in our world of thinking. Mm-hmm. So if you're adding more of that to you every single day, you're not going to be somebody I hang out with. Let's put it that way. But if you're adding things more like every single day, I'm going to feel some joy today because, damn it, this is who I want to become. I want to be a joy-filled person. I don't want to be a stressed out person. I want to live in balance, and I want to just let go of all this fear in my life and lack in my life. For me, feeling that and becoming that is a practice. It's like adding little cups of sand to a sandcastle on the beach. And a lot of practices say you should think this way all the time, but the thing with reminding yourself to think this way is we get swept into everything. Your kids are screaming and your husband's thising and thating, and you can't think your way out of things, but you can feel your way into different states of being if you use a little conscious practice. So that's what I do. I figure every time I put myself in a positive emotional state, I'm basically recreating myself, because I'm adding to myself, right? Every second that ticks by, you're adding more experience into your life. So if you're choosing to add an emotional experience into your life, whether or not it's connected to anything that's going on inside you is totally irrelevant. That's another thing with Flowdreaming. You feel things before they occur because you want to add that into your beingness, right? So you keep adding onto your sandcastle of whatever it is, and eventually you become this thing in your energy and in your emotional self. And then you look at your life and you're like, my life isn't matching me anymore. What's going on? Well, your life is kind of scrambling now to figure out what this energy is that it should be reflecting. So yeah, I'm trying to condense a lot here in a little, but you know exactly what I'm saying.
You're doing a good job. Well, one of the question I have is, so often, we're trying to live these positive lives and be in this good state of being, and then life will throw us a curveball, as you said. You have a your child might do something, or a partner or something at work. Yeah. What do you recommend for people in terms of to most as quickly as possible shift their state back into sort of that optimum state where flow dreaming can happen or where positive creation can happen?
Mm-hmm. So most of us live feeling that we are mandated to respond to what's going on around us. Something happens, we respond. Something happens, we respond, right? It's how you get through your day. Phone rings, you pick it up. In the world of energy, right? So you've got the physical world and the non-physical world. Physical world is responsive. Non-physical world is presponsive, right? Because everything is based on this duality. So the physical world says respond, respond, respond. But when you respond, really you're only referring to things that have already occurred. So basically you're a being who's always living in your past because everything has already happened and you're just responding to what occurred. This is the opposite of manifestation. This is the opposite of future programming. The non-physical state is presponding. Things haven't occurred yet. How do you feel? What are you creating? So I just unhooked the two at one point in my life. And I said, I can respond to things, but if I don't spend a little time presponding to things, one, I'm not living evenly between physical and non-physical, and I'm a physical and non-physical being. I should be finding some sort of balance. And most people, when they're only responding, they're responding to the rest of the world, which is often in a state of just haphazard, semi-chaotic, other people's stuff, other people's negativity. So when I pre-spawn now, the question for me, and pre-spawn is another way of saying I'm creating an emotion before life has given me any reason to feel it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm putting the cart before the horse. So I'm saying today I'm feeling beautiful, I'm feeling joyful, I'm feeling fulfilled, I'm feeling very safe, I'm feeling responded to, I'm feeling seen, I'm feeling freedom, I'm feeling financial safety, all the things that we want life to give to us so we can feel that way.
Mainly through affirmations. Is affirmations the way you're doing that?
Nope, I'm doing it in flow, right? This is an emotional feeling. Okay. So I go into my flow state and I say, I'm saying it because I have to tell you what I'm doing, but otherwise I'm not. I am emotionally safe. I'm cared for, I'm looked after, I'm free. I'm heading in the right direction. These are feeling states. Mm-hmm. And feelings, something like I'm heading in the right direction, it sounds like an affirmation, but if you delve down into the actual deep emotional pieces in that, you'll notice there are several emotions that most of us kind of put together. Some are pure emotions and some are cobblings together of multiple emotions. Feeling like I'm going in the right direction is a multi-emotion one. It's safe. It's a feeling of forward momentum. Right? These are all emotional pre-feelings that I'm having. Now, life hasn't done anything to give me a reason to feel this way, but I'm done responding to what's already happened. The only way to get out of that paradigm is to start pre-spawning to what hasn't yet occurred. Does that make sense?
It does, and you slipped in a little term that I actually haven't heard before, so I wanted to invite you just to unpack it. You slipped in the term future programming, and I haven't heard that specific word, so I think that's what you're talking about, but maybe you could just share a little bit more in depth about it, because I think it's a pretty fascinating concept.
Yes. Okay, so a lot of us move through life responding to things that have happened. Yes, exactly. And we make those things very, very real, and we give away our power to them, meaning I will respond to that. I have to deal with that. I'm no longer a creator. I'm no longer in the power seat because I have to do the appropriate thing in response to this. So, but if you turn to the other side of things, which is the non-physical side, this hasn't happened yet. We're looking at your future like a series, sometimes I see it like a series of Polaroid pictures flicking by. You have all these little white Polaroids. We've been given this gorgeous gift of time that are cut into little fragments for us so we can have, experiences in each one of them. And so when I'm looking at my future, what I'm saying to it is, you haven't shown up yet. I'm feeling all of these beautiful, gorgeous emotions. Match me. Match me. And I try not to be incredibly specific, like how. I mentioned the old magazine. Well, the magazine failed. It wasn't my thing. But my greater intention was, at the time, put me into my life's path. My life did a great job of that. Because I let go of the specific thing, which was, as it turned out, not in my flow. So I look at flow as kind of the path of ease, the path of least resistance, the path of where the doors are all open. And we always have a path like this. It's not like God or source or flow or whatever says, you will not have any open paths. There was always an open path. It's like you have all the cards in the deck. There's always a couple aces. It's always there. But usually it's us, and we get all wrapped in, like it's got to be this thing, and it's got to happen just like this. It's got to happen on this timeline, and this is what it's going to take. That's the physical part of you, right? The non-physical part of you is saying, what are you wanting to feel from this? What is your ultimate emotional thing that you take with you? And I think all of this became really clear a couple years ago. So I had breast cancer, metastatic stage 2, and that's when I realized the only thing we take with us, and I've heard this a million times, the only thing we take with you is what you've made, what you've experienced. That's the only thing that's important. The relationships that you have developed, all the physical stuff is just completely gone. So if there's one guiding principle, why not live by that now? I want to feel this way in life. I want to feel free. I want to feel engaged. I want to feel passionate. I want to feel rich. I want to feel beautiful. I want to feel just creative. Just like put them out there. And then allow this flow, allow this easy path for you to say, well, we're going to show it up for you. This is where you go next. We're going to show it up for you. This is where you go next. And it's going to show it up for you. It's just not going to be the way that you specify it necessarily, because our minds are very limited and small. You know, they're in our heads. But there's another part of our mind that's pretty expansive, and it's pretty connected. And it's got a lot of better ideas that we can't even see yet. You know, we're these little horses with blinders on, you know, the kind that go through the cities. That's us in life. We like pick from the few options we see in front of us. And those options are usually things that have already happened in our past that we're basing our future options off of, which are very limited. Right? So the other way of looking at it is, show me some options I haven't seen. That's the feeling I want to go into.
Beautiful. Well, maybe that can be a good jumping off point for, I know that you lead different experiential exercises, and you said that you could put one together for us here so that we can really just jump in together into this flow state. So I'd love you to take us there.
Fantastic. I would love to do that as well. I feel like I've tried to cram so much into such a little state. I hope there were little pieces here and there that were making sense. So let's just go into the state. Like I said, it's a real strong emotional meditation, but it's not a meditation because it's based on daydreaming. So what'll happen is you'll go into it and you'll be very self-aware for a while. And think of it like throwing a bone for a dog, right? You're throwing this state for your mind. So your mind can say, oh, I can stay busy. I love to help you out and stay busy. Normally I worry all the time, but you're giving me something else. So you're going to throw this bone. And the bone is, I want you to feel the strong emotional state. So we're going to go in pretty quickly. I don't usually go in this fast, so everyone follow as best you can. Just nice deep breathing. If you notice your eyelids fluttering or flickering, that's fine. It's just a symptom of, it's like a semi-REM state. Your brain waves will synchronize. And you're going to let go. And I want you to imagine something with me. Come be with me right now. Remember, outside of time and space, all time is now. Whatever I'm doing right now can be done at any time, past, present, or future. We're walking along a path together. It's a path along the beach. And the waves are rolling in. It's a beautiful beach, maybe one you've been at on a vacation, tropical sea. And the sand is soft, so soft under your toes. And there's beach grasses. You can hear the sound of the surf. This place is empty. It's beautifully empty. It's empty because it's your beach. It belongs to you. It's your space. It's your state of being. And as you walk this line in the sand along the water's edge, it's like someone has traced a line in the sand with a stick like some child way far ahead, and you can follow this line and it just goes on, and you just see it, the shoreline that goes on, and you're gliding and you're flowing and you're moving, and you're starting to feel like, I've been moving along this beach and I haven't even noticed it. Just been doing it without thinking. Just like I've been moving through the seconds and the hours and the minutes of my life, often without any thought at all. Just being in it. But here I am in this place between earth and sky and land and water. This place in the middle of everything, between physical and non-physical. And I feel drawn, I feel pulled. It's like there's a magnet reaching out to my body, to my heart, to my being, and it's just pulling me into my future. It's pulling me into my next steps. It's pulling me into my next physical, non-physical, it's all there. And this pull is forever and ancient, and it goes on, and I am being led through it, and every moment I step into it, every moment I take into it, a little piece of me is increasing. I'm growing without trying. I never have to try to grow again. It's just happening. I've been blessed with that. Blessed to just grow in every second, to have those moments to add more in. What am I adding in? Can you feel something right now you've been adding into your life? Feelings you've been adding in. Have they been worry? Have they been fear? What are the feelings you've been adding so much of into your life? Are they helping you? Or did they help you once? Were they the alert? Were they the red flag going up? Maybe you can put them down now and say, I'll handle you. I'll handle you. I'll handle you. And so you look forward into your beautiful beachscape ahead and you see things. You see all kinds of things. Life is going to give to you. Life is so abundant. Do you believe life is abundant and giving? Do you believe the universe expands and stretches on and there's plenty for everyone everywhere? There's plenty for you. Life is giving it to you. It gives it to you every day. It gives it to you in a breath. It gives it to you in a body. Gives it to you in food, gives it to you in connection, gives it to you in love and opportunities. It's constantly shoveling. Can you see that? It's like someone's shoveling a whole bunch of big bits of treasure and goblets and beautiful chalices and diamonds all up there on the beach for you, saying, take from this, build from this, make from this, won't you? And you say, oh, I can only have one or two. I can only do this or that. And you realize all of this is coming at you every day, every moment. You're the one who's telling yourself you can have it or you can't. So take some more in. Take more of what life is giving you in. What are those things you really want to feel? What if life could find a way to give it to you? What if you just opened up and said, okay, fine, give it to me, I'll take it. Here's how I want to feel. Freedom, joy, safety, loved, rich, healthy. I want all of those. This is my opening dialogue. This is my opening salvo. I'm saying right now to life, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start talking to you more. Not just responding to what somebody else has already given me. I'll talk to you, feeling it. Here's what I feel. Tomorrow I will feel this. Feel that? Hold that. You've opened the door. And be in this state. And let yourself come out and return and open your eyes. Well, if you're lucky, for maybe 2 minutes of that, you lost yourself in something. Maybe not the whole time you came back and forth. It's new. But this is the emotional state. It's a bubble bath that I give to my being every day. It takes just a couple of minutes. And there's nothing in my life that can say no to what I'm feeling. There's no objection. There's no, but I can't, or what if, or I don't haves. Nothing can go up against that. This is it. It consumes me. And that's me talking to non-physical, talking to my soul, talking to everyone else.
Thank you so much. I felt like, I know you were saying that this was going to be a shorter version of what you normally do. So I kind of felt like the engines were just revving up, and could feel myself feeling disappointed, like, oh, wait. But
I know.
the good news is, though, I know that you've created a kit that includes I think it includes some audios or things that people who want to explore with you more deeply and have a longer process, can dive into that with you. So I'm already thinking, like, great, I got to get that meditation. Or can you share a little bit about what this kit is that you've created for people who want to go a little bit deeper, since we're just getting our engines revving here?
Well, thank you. Yes, I'm a very practical Virgo. I'm like 50% incredible Virgo practicality, and the other part of me is straight up woo. So this kit is 2 PDFs, a quick start guide, just like walks you through, bam, 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 for people who are like small attention span, just tell me what to do. And then there's a guidebook, which is more like, this is what's really going on here. Then there's an audio tutorial where I talk you through the process. And then there's actually a flow dream that I've recorded called Positive Flow. You don't have to flow to my voice or to anyone else's voice. Ultimately, you'll reach a state in your practice where you're doing it all on your own. It's just nice to have that crutch in the beginning of letting somebody else tell you how to feel. Your only job is to feel that way. That's it. So that's what this kit does. It teaches you and takes you into this state, and then it tells you, here's how you're feeling. Feel this way. This is your only job. Feel this way. And that's called Positive Flow. And it basically says, no matter what's going on in your life, what's going on today, you feel really great and really good. Now you're no longer responding, you're pre-sponding, because you can't have that future you want unless you give the world a very clear emotional sense of how you want it to make you feel. Because the thing we all have to remember is it's never about events. It's never about things. All of the things that we hope and want for are really just helping us get to a feeling that we're ultimately looking for. That's it. Everything we do is driving back to a feeling we want to get from it. So it's never the things that matter. So if God or flow can give me those feelings, or I can create those feelings and start pumping them out and creating them, then so many doors open of the things that can give that to you. So anyway, go back to the kit. Yes, go get the kit. It's very good.
So if you want this 4-part kit, you go to inspiringwomenwithsoul.com/summer, SUMMER. Again, inspiringwomenwithsoul.com/summer. And she's very generously making this kit available free to you if you choose. And I know we're coming to the end of our time here, so I just wanted to give you a chance to share any final thoughts with our participants.
Oh, well, thank you, Devaa. Well, first of all, it's been really nice and awesome getting to meet you and know you for the first time. So thank you for this opportunity. And for everyone out there, if you're looking for a way to co-create, to manifest, but more than that, just to become in a state of real power inside your life and not rely on what other people are giving you anymore, but be a self-sustaining, strong creator, you can make anything from this. Relationships are like me. I love business, so I build companies. Whatever you want, you can make using these feelings. It's the genesis of it all. And if you're only physically trying to do things and you're not non-physically doing them too, I always say it's like hopping on one leg. You know, you were gifted with 2 legs. There's physical and there's non-physical. And if you're not devoting time to each, no wonder life is hard. No wonder it's always a struggle and burnout and frustrating. You're forgetting half of your relationship. Right? I mean, it'd be like if you were in a relationship and you were telling your partner all the time what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what movie to take you to, what clothes to buy for you, you would be exhausted. That's how many of us are when we're only just doing non-physical. So this is physical. So this is the non-physical aspect that you add in that really reshapes yourself. And it creates that future programming just because you become in advance of your life. You're now in advance of everything that truly should be behind you, because it is.
Yeah, you're not in response. You're really
Pre-spawns.
Being the creator. Yeah, I like that idea. I hadn't heard that term, and I think that that's really fascinating and fabulous. And I love that you're making it an easy way for people to jumpstart the process. And
yes, it's a thing you do. It's a thing you do. It's not just something you read about. You do it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Summer, for all the wisdom that you're sharing. Thank you for being an inspiring woman and a beacon of the possible for us all. And it's really been a pleasure having you here. So many, many thanks.
Thank you, Devaa. You as well. It's beautiful.